Total Metal Radio, and you are listening to Breakfast with the Beast, and up next we have Brian Marshall from E-Volution Ecigs. Brian, how you doing?
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Keeping it metal. So, you are the manager of the E-Volution Ecigs store in the Oneonta Mall, correct?
Yep, that would be me.
All right, and so tell me a little bit about your store down there.
Well, we're a little shop next to a few other stores over there. I'm not going to mention them because I honestly don't like them. But we're an e-cigarette shop, basically electronic cigarettes. But we're even better than e-cigarettes because most people associate e-cigarettes with cigalikes, like those other crappy companies where the batteries go dead on you and so forth. Well, our devices are actually set up a little bit different. Our devices are actually set up to give you a constant voltage from beginning to the end of the life of the battery. Our batteries are rechargeable. They don't cut out after like a week, and these batteries actually last. The tanks that we use, you refill them up with the e-juice that we have 2 labs in Syracuse, ran by nurses, and they take a lot of pride in what they do. We refill the cartridges up, the tanks up, I should say, sorry. Fill the tanks back up. The flavors are great. You get lasting flavor from beginning to the end. And we have a wide variety of products, from beginners all the way up to the advanced level.
All right, and so beginner. I'm certainly sure a lot of our listeners are, wondering, okay, well, they've heard about an e-cigarette, great, that's fucking great. I can switch from smoking regular cigarettes to getting my cancer through fucking, an electronic means. Hey, great. So, I think there's a lot of misconceptions here. So, would you mind talking about that, about the differences between what an e-cigarette is versus a regular cigarette, and some stuff like that?
I can do that. What an e-cigarette is, electronic cigarette is like, for example, starter level. We have a 900 milliamp battery. All right, that 900 milliamp battery connects to a tank, a Clearomizer style tank. And what it basically is you have, in that tank, you have a coil. The coil has a wicking agent, silica wicking. Some devices have organic cotton, Japanese Kroger cotton, so to speak. So what we do is there's a quill on the inside, and on the inside there's the wick, and you fill up the tank full of juice. You screw it on to your battery. When you hit the power button, it sends an electrical current through the coil. When it goes through the coil, it actually heats the juice up to where it's on an atomizing level. So it atomizes it and creates the vapor. When you're pulling in, it draws it up and you create the vapor. Now in that liquid that we're using is 4 ingredients. You have propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, nicotine, and then you have natural organic flavoring, or probably some artificials out there. Can't reproduce Mother Nature's recipe. You get pretty close though. When the flavoring in there, you breathe that in, you're not actually tasting it, you're catching it on your palate. And your palate is how you get the sense of the smell, the taste, the texture, and some of the juices. Some of the juices out there are really great. You can really taste the fruit, like E-Volution Ecigs. Strawberry custard. The dripping lime juice. It's got a really nice, smooth strawberry flavor. You can catch the vanilla hints substance to it. It's really, really close to like a real strawberry flavor. So when you're breathing this in, your lungs on the inside, they're absorbing a little bit of nicotine that's in there. And what I mean by a little bit of nicotine is you get a little bottle, for say 10 milliliter bottle of E-Volution's juice. You take that, and inside that bottle, so you start out with 24 milligrams, which is like a pack a day, kind of deal. There's 24 milligrams per the entire bottle. So it's not like you're actually inhaling 24 milligrams of nicotine. That puts you on the floor and you probably shit yourself.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, right. I mean, that would be kind of like almost an overdose. So you don't want that.
Right.
So it's spit it out before that and mixed out between the bottles. So when you take your breath, you're absorbing the nicotine. It doesn't hit you the same as a cigarette, and that's what I think is really, kind of cool about it. Is you can sit there and you can vape, you can enjoy the flavor, but at the same time, if you vape too much at that high level of nicotine or any of the levels of the nicotine, if you vape too much, you'll feel it after a bit. That's where you as a person have to go through and say, okay, I've had enough.
All right.
And that's when you cut back. Now, some people, unfortunately, out there don't know that, but your body will let you know when you've had enough. Because it's just like if you smoke too many cigarettes at a bar or something, you start to feel a little goofy.
All right. Yeah. So about these ingredients, you're telling me there's only four ingredients inside this juice.
That's correct.
All right.
Only four ingredients.
Okay. And how many ingredients? How many different chemicals are there in a cigarette?
Well, see, that's the big question now, because originally we were all used to hearing about 4,000. Now, just the other night, I was sitting on the couch after work, eating dinner, catching some late night stuff, and I saw a commercial that mentioned something about 7,000. Well, honestly, that blew my mind, because I've been used to only hearing about 4,000. Where the heck did the other 3,000 come from? Maybe it was a typo on the commercial.
That's an awful lot of shit you're sucking in.
Yeah, if we just go by with what we know is the 4,000, that's a lot of nasty chemicals that, you're basically, my gosh, what isn't killing you in that thing?
Right, so you're talking about tar, formaldehyde. Is any idea on how many of those are actually, known cancer-causing chemicals?
Pretty much, I think the main majority of them are.
All right, so we're talking about some pretty bad shit here that, obviously people for a multitude of reasons would want to quit doing anyways. I'm an ex-smoker, so I'm a little bit biased on it, but I'm trying not to be here. I'm trying to approach this from a I don't know shit level, because I'm certainly sure there's some people out there that might be smokers and saying, there really isn't anything else that works. It doesn't, I tried the patch, I tried the gum, I tried cold turkey, nothing's working. How does an e-cigarette benefit people to quit? I think that's a big question that a lot of people would want to know.
Well, that's a good question to ask, and I'm sure you can ask any of us vapors out there, and we'll literally, flat out tell you that, you'll start noticing the effects, within the first week of vaping. A lot of people, I've had a few people come back into the shop, and they're saying, I started coughing and hacking and wheezing, and all this other stuff. It's not working. I actually feel worse. No, you don't give up. That's what you want, because your lungs are coming back to life. You're no longer putting those poisons and toxins into your lungs. So now your lungs are saying, holy cow, I can work again. And now it's time to go into overdrive, because now we need to clean this stuff out. So you're going to hack. I know for myself, about 2 to 3 weeks, I was hacking up nasty stuff. And after once it settled down, and all of a sudden I started to taste things better. My smell came back a little better. It didn't work out too well with that because I could smell my daughter. She can blow it up. So that part, I kind of wish I was still a smoker on that end on that one. But, I mean, it's just really, you know, the benefits of it just come out. I mean, there was a point in time when I was, like, very dangerous at, like, 30 feet. You know, if I had to chase you down for 30 feet, I was on you. But now, I can run. You know, and, you know, Forrest can run. And that's a kick at Josh, one of the owners, you know, Forrest Gump there. He calls me Forrest. He says I sound like Forrest Gump. So, but I can actually run. And I didn't realize that until one day I was at the shop. And I was short on cash. I needed change for the register. And I only had like 15 minutes. So before the shop opened. So I got myself together, and I actually ran from the mall entrance all the way over to the bank across the street. I stopped when I got to the big hill because I didn't figure I was an acrobat just yet. So then I rolled down, ran across the road, and I wasn't tired. You know, I didn't like want to hit 911 when I got there. You know, any time before that, I'd have been on the ground. You know, and I mean, it's just a solid, you know, a solid bonus all around. I mean, my skin's cleaner, my hands don't look as yellow, my house is an improvement. After I quit and I got into vaping full time, we went through, we cleaned the house, we repainted the house, and the nicotine levels were so bad in the house that we had to scrub the walls 2 or 3 times to get the nicotine off. We scrubbed everything because this is what I don't think people really see until they're actually done, is that how bad the nicotine coats everything in your house. Yeah. I mean, everything is just covered in nicotine.
Right. Yeah.
Things that you, even if you run through and clean all the time, it's still covered in nicotine. And it was just a pain in the rear and a big realization of, imagine what my lungs look like.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, from all that time of smoking and stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm sure yourself, you're a new customer. I'm sure you're starting to see some of the effects, how it's making you better and stuff.
Oh yeah, believe me, that Slayer scream would have killed me a month ago. It still kills me a little bit because I'll tell you that Slayer scream. You know, you really got to work up to that. I mean, me breathing wise, I think being a vocalist, I have a little bit of an edge on most smokers because I have practice in breathing and how to breathe and things like that. But even, you know, being a vocalist, I noticed that you know, I'll admit it straight out. One of the reasons why I wanted to quit so bad was, you know, I recorded an album. And I noticed that the songs that I did when I wasn't smoking, the vocals sound better. And I'm not being, you know, I'm not like sitting there listening, well, gee, which one? I mean, no, I literally listen to the whole CD and go, wait a second, when did I record this one? Holy shit, I was quit at that time. I really do sound better when I'm not smoking. So, you know, it really meant something to me in that way to say, I don't want to ruin my voice. I don't want to have that scratchy, can't hold a big breath, can't, you know, hold a note for, you know, more than a measure. You know, I mean, that's what really mattered to me the most. I mean, I always enjoyed the hand to mouth, and, you know, I always enjoyed the relaxation part of smoking. Oh, Christ, go away. Stop. Don't text me while I'm on the air. Christ. But, you know, that mattered to me. But at the same time, what else also mattered to me, and I'm certainly sure just about every smoker out there can agree with this, you know, regardless of what we adults do, we don't want our kids doing it. And our kids, you know, are influenced by us no matter what we do. We can say, oh, this is bad for you. Yeah, mommy and daddy shouldn't do it, but don't you do it. that do as I say, not as I do does not work with a kid. I'm living proof. Generations of smokers are living proof. And we owe it to our children to be around to see our grandkids, I mean, and I know just from personal experience, I almost lost my mother. My mother had COPD, and the doctor told her, quit or you're going to die. My mother quit. Right. Thank God she quit. But my daughter decided to start smoking. Go figure that fucking thing out. She knows how much I've been trying to quit, and she starts smoking. And, I look at those kind of things and I say, you know what? If we can make one generation go to vaping, the next generation won't start them up. And, that's just my opinion on it, but,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I have a lot of, to tell you the truth, as of late, a lot of my customers that are coming in the shop, and to kick it off with that is that I had a respiratory therapist actually come over to me the other day in the shop and actually asked me how I felt about vaping and if I really felt that it worked and helped. And at the same time, I had a young generation of children. Actually, I wouldn't say children. I call them children because they're still wet behind the ears. They're like 18-year-old kids. They actually rolled into the shop and they bought 0 milligram nicotine juice. Nice. There was no nicotine in that juice. And, these kids came in and actually, I looked at the therapist and said, you know what, to give you an example, see these guys, they're here for 0 nic. They're not here for the nicotine. They're here for just a vaping pleasure.
Right.
They enjoy E-Volution, Ecigs juice so much that, they're here for the flavor. They're not here for nicotine. That's great. That's the start of the next generation. I know for me, I got into smoking because I think it was more pushed on me, so to speak, but not like nobody handed me a pack of smokes and a lighter. For me, my mom went to like bingo halls and stuff like that. If you remember back in the day, those things were full of smoke.
Oh yeah.
Those smoke machines they had sitting up on top, they didn't work for nothing. I mean, you're just breathing it in and stuff like that. And I mean, it was everybody you saw back in the day, the Marlboro Man, all that type of stuff. Save up your miles on your cigarettes and you can get the cool hat, and the cool pair of cowboy boots, which I had a pair of them. Had the rattlesnake on the bottom. That was kick-ass, But what you didn't see was the generation was being like almost kind of pushed into smoking. We had advertising everywhere. And the industry decided to, we're not going to do that anymore. But it didn't matter. The influence was already there.
Right.
People saw other people smoking. You could smell it, which to me is amazing right now because I smell a cigarette smoker and it makes me sick. I have customers that come in to the shop and they just smoked a cigarette and they're trying to quit, and I'm ready to get sick because they stink.
Right.
And that's something that I don't think a lot of us smokers understood either, was how bad we did really smell.
Right.
I mean, that right there, they killed the smell of, it killed your sense of smell. We couldn't smell ourselves because we were so used to it.
Right.
And if we did smell a cigarette, a lot of times we're like, oh, that smells so good. But now we smell a cigarette and it's like, oh, that is sick. I know for me, getting started, why did I quit? What made me quit smoking? I was one of the people that had the side effects of smoking kick in. There for a while, my stomach started to swell up. I had like hand-rolled cigarettes for like 18 years, and then I smoked a pipe for the last 3.
Right.
And I was smoking the pipe every day, all day long. As soon as it was done, tap it, repack it. I noticed after a while that my stomach started swelling up. I thought I ate one too many subs. And I looked like I was, like my waist and everything was like the normal size, so I wasn't gaining weight elsewhere. But I ended up, my stomach started swelling. I started looking like I was pregnant and couldn't figure out why. I thought maybe it was the coffee, acid reflux, something like that. And and I had this frog, like, baseball kind of feeling in my throat all the time. And I couldn't figure, I was like, it's just acid reflux or whatever. Well, it kind of was in a sense. So without letting my other half know what I was up to, I set up an appointment for a doctor, went and seen the doctor. Doctor did some tests, shoved the camera down my throat, took some samples, some cultures, did a bunch of other tests. Come to find out, what had happened is I was developing scar tissue on the back of my vocal cords, and from the pipe tobacco, from all the crap and crud that was coming through. And my stomach, from all that stuff, I had changed the chemistry of my stomach.
Really?
So I was no longer, like, pretty much digesting food. I was digesting some, but not the main haul of it, and everything was just sitting there building up.
Wow.
So that's what the stomach was. Stretched my stomach full of unprocessed foods. So anyway, they went through and they flat out said, Brian, you keep going with the chemistry of your stomach and the ulcers and the things that are going on inside of your stomach, you will develop cancer. You will have it. It's bound to happen. It's going to happen. If you do not stop, you're going to be in the chemo ward. And, for me, that was enough of a mental reality, realization of, oh, crap, man. What am I going to do? Now, what do I do about my vocal cords? You guys are going to plug a hole in me or something? And am I going to have to walk around with one of those things on my throat to make a voice or something? And they're like, well, potentially you will be there. So now I have a load of, I've basically destroyed I guess there's like 3 sets of vocal cords or something. I might be wrong, there might be more or less, but one set in there is done. You can't use them anymore, they said. The other ones that I have in there got scar tissue on them. I can go in and have a procedure done where they can remove it. I'll go through like vocal therapy and all this other stuff, and it'll fix it, but I don't want to. As a result of all that, it took me over a year to get my stomach back into shape. I've just been able, like the past probably about 4 or 5 months, before I actually started for E-Volution, I was actually starting to be able to eat regular food again. And then, as far as, the vocals go, I actually carry around with me, it's called throat coat. A lot of musicians, singers, stuff like that, they use it. Helps coat your throat. It's like lemon, honey, and stuff like that. Because if not, I lose my voice. It'll start to go scratch, and then boom. That kind of helps it a little bit. I carry it around in my coffee cup. It looks like a lot of times it looks like I'm drinking coffee, but nope. It's so I can talk. Although some people say I talk too much, but whatever. Fuck off. So it's a matter of, I'm only 35 years old. It's bad enough I'm bald. Now I'm about to get hit with stomach cancer and throat cancer. That's just, and there's, let me just say this. There's still a chance that all that is going to happen.
Right.
Just because I changed everything up and I quit did not mean that it's not going to stop.
Right.
And I still wake up every day with that thought of I could still end up on the chemo. And I don't want that. I got a 3-year-old daughter out there that, deserves to have her father, with her. She doesn't need to see her father go through that. And that's something that this new generation of vapors, that's what we're doing.
Right.
We're making it to where our loved ones can still see us. And it's good for us. It's healthy. It's a great alternative. I think it's a shame that, we have so many haters out there that, are totally against what we do and what we represent.
Well, let me stop.
We all know that. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me stop you there for a second. We've been talking about the danger side so much, and we have talked a little bit about the health benefits of switching. But there's a lot of stuff in the news, and there's a lot of different information going around. There's multiple sides to every story, and apparently this one has a lot of sides to it. They're talking about their side effects, there's allergies, there's a lot of different stuff going on, and I think that it's someone who doesn't know anything about this, but is looking for a way to quit or has thought about it, and just thinks it's going to be way too tough for them to just go cold turkey or something, or they've tried going cold turkey. I'm certainly sure they're going to be afraid. Well, this stuff has antifreeze in it, or people have allergic reactions to that stuff. I could wake up dead. I think those kinds of things really need to be addressed as far as what's really going on there. So can you talk a little bit about the side effects?
I can say this much. Look at it like as far as like secondhand smoke goes and stuff like that. There is no, you're breathing in the vapor. The vapor dissipates within a matter of minutes. On the extreme level or the advanced hobby level of vaping, the vapor will, tend to linger around for a bit longer. But as far as the effects of hurting others around you, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. There could be a potential chance that it could happen. You never know. There could be somebody out there who can't tolerate the parts per million of bare minimal amount of nicotine. And I've met a person who has an allergy apparently to our vapors. Well, not really our vapors in general, but smells in general. So it can be offensive. But as far as like secondhand smoke side effects and stuff like that, there's not been a known case of people getting cancer from vaping. That's actually out there. But I also look at it like this. If you go on the internet and you go to research this stuff, if you go on there looking for a negative, guess what you're going to find? You're going to find a negative. Because there's always some, person out there who's got something negative to say, and they're going to put this information out there for you in such a formal manner that you're going to take it as that's legit.
Right.
But the reality of it is, vaping overall is healthy. It is overall good for you. It's not going to poison, people around you. What poisons people around you and stuff like that is the irresponsible actions of one who leaves their bottle of nicotine around so their young child can pick it up without the safety cap on. That's something E-Volution has, take a lot of pride in. Everything that we can do to protect everybody around us from getting harmed, they're doing it. As far as our chemicals, in our juice goes, it's safety first,
right? Not
irresponsibility. Think about it. How many times you go and like back in the day or even now, relatives who smoke and stuff like that. You're at parties and events and people are smoking. Now people are more prone to go outside.
Right.
All right, but that doesn't mean anything because they're walking back in and then all of a sudden their cousin, nephew, whatever, runs up to them. They pick them up. They got nicotine on them.
Right.
It's on their hands. They got those chemicals on their hands. Vaping, it's not there. You're going to get some vegetable glycerin on you, some propylene glycol that makes antifreeze safe for the environment, for your dogs and pets. It's not antifreeze, and that's a big thing out there. Some of the juice might look like it, color-wise, but yeah, that's a big misconception right there, is that there's antifreeze. I've even heard jet fuel.
Yeah.
Acetone, stuff like that. There has been cases where, and this is something I want to key in on about the vaping community, about how they're trying to do the best they can to make everything legit. There's been cases of acetone, formaldehyde, and all these other different chemicals that pop up, diactyls that pop up. What they've done is titanium dioxide. There's another one. What they've done is every time something like that has come up, the vaping community has stepped up, removed it, repaired it, fixed it, and put it back out for the people. Tobacco companies aren't doing that.
No.
Tell the tobacco industry to take out those 3,000 some odd chemicals that we know are in there. They're not going to do that because there ain't going to be nothing left. But the vaping community has done that. You know, every time there's something that comes up, they have done that. Some of the top sellers out there, juice out there, has done that. You know, they were a group of people who is very unique, but at the same time, we're everybody every day.
Right.
And we come together and we make sure things are right because it is. It's time, you know, it's time we break the chains of slavery from the tobacco industry.
Right.
You know, it just kind of wish the political side of it all and all the others that are involved to keep us down. I wish they'd understand that, you know.
Right, yeah. Yeah, speaking of politics, you know, there is a lot of stuff in the news going on right now. You know, as a matter of fact, I hear the state has some bills. You know, our state here, New York State, and some other states too, have some bills. They want to ban the sale. They want to tax the fuck out of it. They're just being extremely unfair, and pretty much they're being just as Nazi as they are with the tobacco industry. I mean, granted, you know, okay, yeah, there's nicotine. Yeah, in high doses, nicotine could kill a kid, or it could make you really sick. You know, people. I think people relate to that, and they understand it, and they, you know, I think in the majority of it, most people are like, well, it's you know, yeah, it's a drug. It has to be locked up. Treat it like any other medication that you have in your house. You wouldn't let your kids just grab a bottle of Tylenol. So why are you going to let them grab your bottle of e-juice? I mean, you know, it's just kind of the common sense thing there. However, you know, the state needing to be, you know, Nazi and nanny, this, you know, is apparently doing these bills. One is to put a 75% tax on e-juice, and the other one is to completely ban it from purchase or sale in New York State. And I know there's other states that have these bills going on, and I hear there's some petitions out there.
Yes, there's several of them. Actually, they're just what you mentioned. I'm sure there's probably more of them throughout the U.S. in general, but to touch base on something that you really brought up also was the fact of letting children get a hold of this stuff, and that's something that the vaping community has done. The main majority of the bottles that I've ever come across have child-proof safety caps on them. Right. Just like those Tylenol bottles you're talking about, and you know, the different chemicals that we use on a daily basis have child-proof safety caps on them. Right. You know, so I mean, for somebody to get a hold of, you know, for a young child to get a hold of one of our bottles, so to speak, you know, unless the irresponsible person who actually has that bottle left the cap off, that's the only way that child is getting it. Right. And I think it's kind of funny because a lot of times they're saying that, you know, the flavorings in general are what's alluring to a child. Oh yeah, it smells good, don't get me wrong, but have you ever tasted some of this juice out there? This stuff is horrible. I don't there's some flavors out there, yes, I will say that do taste pretty good. But at the same time, some of them are just this outright disgusting. And you put 24 milligrams of nicotine in a bottle, man, that makes it even worse. So that's what, you know, I'm having a hard time understanding how these kids who don't even want to take cough medicine can tolerate a bottle of juice. You know, it's not like they're drinking Nesquik or something. I mean, you take a flavor that's apparently supposed to taste like strawberry milk, for example. You take a flavor like that, all right, that stuff is nasty. I mean, it tastes like Dynatac. Yeah. And that's some gross stuff. And but yet when you vape it, man, that strawberry milk flavor comes out. Ooh, that's so good. But when you drink it, or you put a few drops on your tongue, I don't get it, you know. Yeah, definitely not very flavorful. These like petitions that they're putting out there, It's not. It's the tobacco industry. It's, you know, the politicians. It's everybody who's ever gotten a big kickback.
Right.
You know, I think in a lot of ways it boils down to that. Then it boils down to the fact of it's just a bunch of old farts in office who don't know any better, who are uneducated about the products in general. They're taking the words of somebody who's getting paid to say it.
Right.
You know, we don't want to do this. But I think they're missing the point of, imagine if America got together, yeah, like that would happen. But imagine if we got together and actually decided to put this in as a full-blown industry in America, like it used to be back in the day, man. You hold up your mechanical mod, made in America. You know, if we did that and we stopped depending on, you know, importing this stuff from other countries in general, you know, think of all the jobs that we're putting into effect. You know, me, for one. You know, I was selling starter kits. That's how I got started. I was selling starter kits out of my house to people. You know, now I work for E-Volution. I got a job. The other employee that I have, Dustin, down there at the shop, the little leprechaun-looking guy, he has a job now. Yeah, he didn't have one before that. This is creating jobs. E-Volution has done that for people. You know, by each shop that we put up, E-Volution has literally gone through and helped the economy and given us jobs. You know, and it goes with all the vape shops out there. All the people that were not working are now working. You know, it's like all these companies that are making the American-made products.
Right.
You know, AmeriVape, you know, all those other companies out there, they're giving people jobs and opportunities to have a future. And now our system is saying, well, you know, we should ban the sales of the e-juice in the bottles. Well, you know those nurses that in Syracuse, those two labs that E-Volution has, and they're making our juice? Now they're not going to have a job doing that. So they just took jobs away.
Right.
You know, so what do you want? You want us to work, or do you want us to, like, what? Make up your mind.
No,
you know,
we're not talking about. We're not talking about a couple $1 million around the world either here, right?
No, it's billions.
This industry has grown quite a bit. I mean, it's been around for what, 10 years?
2007.
2007. So we're talking even, almost getting close to 10 years here. And you know, this was like some dude, you know, came up with the idea, I'll do this and I'll do that, and we can make a little money on the side, and you know what, a couple $1,000s the first year, but now we're up to over $1 billion a year industry, correct?
Yep.
So we're not talking small change here. We're talking something where you start one of these shops, you're almost guaranteed that you're going to be creating jobs, you're going to be making yourself a decent living, and you're going to go home with the satisfaction of the people that want to quit, you're helping. Right?
Exactly.
So, okay.
It's also the fact that you're helping the people save money as well. Now people have, when you quit smoking, I mean, on average, you figure if you come in and you bought, like right now, we're throwing if you spend $30 in the shop, you get a free starter kit.
Wow.
You know, so, right, that's honestly, that's a kick butt deal. You get, like, most of the customers buy an extra battery, or they buy 5 bottles of juice. Now, take these bottles of juice. An average starter that I've noticed, the bottles if you get 2 bottles with your starter kit, it can last you 2 weeks to a month, depending on how much you vape.
Right.
You'll hear me say that a lot at the shop, too, depending on how much you vape. Because, that, you know, if you're a chain vapor, you know, you're going to burn through stuff faster. But think about it. On average, our bottles cost $7 for 10 milliliters.
Yeah.
So right there, 2 bottles of juice that came with it is $14. That's just over what it costs for a pack of cigarettes.
Right.
And if you're a pack a day, I mean, the math right there adds up by itself. You don't even have to calculate it.
Right.
You know, 2 weeks to a month. I mean, that extra money can go towards better Christmas, go towards your child's education. fixing your car, getting a new car, buying new clothes. You want them kicks, them fancy shiny shoes that they sell down at the store? You can get you a pair.
Upgrading your, upgrading your vaping equipment.
It also actually goes through and it helps your community, because now you're spending money at these other stores who are now making more money.
Right.
Because you have that money to do it. So the benefits of vaping overall in general, as we can tell, by far outweigh smoking any day, and outweigh those patches, those gums, and stuff like that. The pills that make people crazy that apparently help you quit.
Right. Now, we're talking about, obviously one of the biggest proponents of anti-vaping is the tobacco industry. Every single customer that you or any other shop switches from smoking cigarettes to vaping, they view it as losing a few $1 million, because certainly in the lifetime of a smoker, you're spending a few million. Or at least $1 million or something like that, but they view it as they're losing a big chunk of change every time someone stops smoking. And we all know this, that they definitely have had their lobbyists, and they put a lot of fear, uncertainty, and distrust. All you nerds out there in the PC world will know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about IBM FUD, which is where you place rumors with a little bit of truth in them that are going to make people afraid. They're going to be uncertain about the product, and they're going to distrust it. IBM did this with their competition back in the 80s. Wow, sounds like you're vaping. IBM did this back in the 80s. As a matter of fact, Microsoft still does this to this day. There's a lot of companies out there that have followed that model because it works so fucking well. Our own governments do this. They use propaganda in ways to scare you in to doing things the way they want you to, but you think you did it. It's like, oh yeah, you had the choice. Well, not really, because you didn't give us all the facts. But so we've got a lot of this FUD going on with the tobacco industry. They think they're going to lose, millions and millions of dollars here. So obviously, a lot of the lobbyists are the tobacco industry. Right. I've even noticed that the tobacco industry. Oh, look at us! We're trying to help you quit. We're putting out our own e-cigarettes. Those things taste like shit. They taste like shit, and you look at them. They're designed to deter you from wanting to quit. They really are, because they taste like crap.
About like vaping in general is that when you're vaping, even with those cigarettes and stuff like that are out there that are made by those companies, the chemicals that are in our products are designed to actually give you kind of like the feeling that you are smoking.
Right.
Like the propylene glycol gives you the throat hit. It actually gives you, the vegetable glycerin. It gives you the appearance of that smoke.
Right.
And you can actually adjust your vaping experience. I mean, I know our company, E-Volution Ecigs, actually goes through, and you can order the juice to what you like. You can't do that with cigarettes, man. You just go down, you can order lights and regulars, full flavors, blacks, whatever, but you can kind of vape how you want. And that's what, like this ban that they're talking about of these juices, they're just trying to regulate it for the tobacco industry. Like you said, they're the ones that are the dog back in the corner that knows it's about to die. And I mean, as far as the overall aspect of it, vaping is overall a totally more healthier product. It's saving lives, and they don't want to admit it.
Right.
They do, but they want to tax it like crazy. They see a chance and an opportunity to make a bunch of money off of it, and that's the sad part. Like for me, myself, there's a lot of companies out there that are, only about the money. And, that's the shame of it. But at the same time, the main majority of the vaping community out there, they're about helping everybody.
Right.
The tobacco industry is not. They just want to make the money. and keep people smoking because it keeps their products on the shelves, and I mean, you're not going to die from cancer from this. You still have some effects, you still are using nicotine, and nicotine, as we know, does have its medical, but the whole goal of the matter is to stop.
Right.
Even vaping in general. I mean, if you want to vape at 0, now you're down to 3 chemicals.
Right.
From the 4. If you go into the clouding aspect, most of us clouders can't tolerate, don't want the PG in there more because we want to make the biggest cloud possible. So we knock out the PG. And once you get onto that level of the clouding, for instance, you don't even want the nicotine because the nicotine now interferes. I mean, you take a big hit, you throw out at least a good 6 to 8 foot cloud. If that's packed full of 24 milligrams, or however many milligrams of nicotine might be in it, that's going to put you on your ringer.
Right.
And now you're down to like 2 chemicals. You're down to flavoring and vegetable glycerin. You take a look at the chemicals that are in vaping, for example, PGVG. Take a look at what products they're not in. We use these products on a daily basis. You brush your teeth, you're using propylene glycol. You put on hand lotion, you're using vegetable glycerin and more likely propylene glycol. When you get sick and you take NyQuil or any of those kind of pills like that, medication, there's propylene glycol in there. So this is not like we're putting out a product of these new chemicals on the market. These things are in everything. Diabetics can vape. The natural sugars don't affect them.
Right. This isn't. These chemicals are also the inner ingredients in respiratory inhalers, also, correct?
Correct. I mean, it's not like we're actually out there trying to poison people with these chemicals. We're trying to do a service to everybody and give everybody the chance and the opportunity to live life longer.
Right.
To walk away from something that so many of us tried but failed.
Right.
How many of us every year said we're going to quit smoking? We never did.
Right, exactly.
Now, those same people are actually doing it because they are vaping.
Right.
That's something that's great.
So with these petitions, we're talking about with these petitions here. There's actually petitions out there right now to send a message to the Assembly and the State Senate that we don't want them to do these things. Correct?
Correct.
So I'm sure there's like some websites that people can go to sign these petitions, send emails to their senator and Congress people or whatever, and all that, right? I mean, there are ways for the general public, regardless of whether you're a smoker, a non-smoker, a vapor, whatever. I mean, there's a lot more at stake here than just stopping a bunch of people from making some pretty clouds. There's a lot of money at stake here. A lot of people will lose jobs. A lot of people will lose their lives, their livelihoods. There's a lot of different things at stake here besides just some guys that want to hang out and blow a big ass cloud. We've got money aspects. We've got quality of living aspects. There's a lot of people that I've hung out in your shop a few times. It seems like every time I go down there just to buy a bottle of juice or something, I end up there for at least an hour, and
right.
I hear a lot of people coming in that they just started on these on the Egos, which is like a starter kit, and even some of these guys that are coming in that are been doing it for a while. You've got some pretty widespread clientele there. You got these 18-year-old kids that just want to do it because they think it's cool to make a big cloud, that aren't even buying nicotine, and then you got these. You've got mothers that come in. I saw that the other day when I was in there. This is middle-aged lady comes in and she's out of juice and she's got her kids with her and she has a big smile on her face. She's chasing her kids around the mall. I mean, you've even got a scientist that goes in there. This dude builds lasers. And I mean,
he's an interesting one.
Yeah, he is. He's a real interesting one. But I mean, I know I've seen that guy around town before, and I remember when he was actually smoking, and I remember how slow he walked, and I remember every time he would go. We have the same mechanic, by the way, he and I, and every time I'd see him at the mechanic shop, he would be coughing, walking real slow. He looked awful every time I saw him, and now I see him. He's like got this brisk walk through the mall to get to the shop. I'm watching. I'm just wondering, like, wow, look, he really turned himself around there. So much more energy. He's got a little spring to his step now. So there's a lot at stake. It's not just the tobacco industry isn't just lobbying to get rid of their competition. They're lobbying to kill people. They're lobbying to make things worse.
Like you said, there is a wide variety of customers. People, all walks of life that come into the shop, and all of E-Volution shops. And I mean, honestly, if you really take into this, we care so much about that, and we're so happy to help these people and willing and wanting to help people quit. And we're giving away a free starter kit.
Right.
You spend $30 and we're giving away a free starter kit to help people. I have, cops that come in there. I have doctors. I have lawyers. I have young kids, elderly. I've got a lady who smoked 40-some years. She was a tough one to get to cut down on the nicotine. And that's something that I need to express also, is that I will work with you. You come into the shop, you're just not another customer opening up your pocketbook or your wallet. You're someone that I'm trying to help. So I will work with you. So you come in at 24, I'm going to mention after a week or so, how about trying 18?
Right.
Let's try 12. I will work you down. This lady who smoked 40-some years, her daughter come into the shop, gave me a hug, started crying. My first response was, that's not my kid, because she had a little kid with her. I was joking. It's just the way I am.
Right.
She laughed, she smiled, and she says, no. She says, my mother was smoking 40 years. She's got emphysema. They told her she wasn't going to live if she kept smoking. She came to you. You helped her. Now she's down to 6 milligrams of nicotine. And I just want to say thank you for helping this, save my mother's life. The vapor can come in and just stay at 18, 24 if they want. But it's that bond, that help, that partnership that we at E-Volution and many other companies have with the customers, is that our goal is to help you quit with a safe product that works. So,
in your opinion, who would vaping really be for? I mean, on a general scale, regardless, like different types of people. Who do you really think vaping is for?
Honestly, I think vaping can be for anybody, because we offer a wide variety of products. I mean, you can go with 0 all the way up to 24 milligrams of nicotine. You can either just be a simple, I just like the flavor with a nice beer or a nice wine type, or you can be somebody who's just, you get stressful and you still need a crutch with sand on. And it helps you achieve that deep breath. That helps you clear your mind. Young, old, doesn't matter. And I mean, the biggest thing is, it's okay to be a quitter.
Right.
With us. That's what we're there to do, is we're there to quit.
Right.
So, it's okay to be a quitter.
Right, but just because you want to quit smoking doesn't mean that you have to make big clouds, right? I mean, not everybody makes big clouds.
No.
Some people use it just until they quit.
Low
right?
amounts of vapor, or you can go with devices across the board that can produce a large cloud. Once you start getting into that aspect, like the hobby side of it all, keep this in mind too, that it's not about the nicotine at that point. It's about the cloud. It's about making the build, building your own coils, stuff like that. There's a lot of. Go ahead.
Even in that aspect, there is two different types of hobbyists. There's the guys that like to make the clouds, but there's also the people that want just the flavor, and they want to enhance that flavor as far as they can, and things like that. Correct? I mean,
Yes. We have what we call cloud chasers, and then we have our flavor chasers.
Right. I seem to be kind of in the middle there. I kind of like both.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I really enjoy about the hobby side of it, the more advanced side of it, is that you can kind of more fine-tune, what you want from the experience. But you can also do that not even on the hobby level. We offer many devices that can give you a different vaping experience, depending on what you're looking for. The basic E-Vod and stuff like that, it's great. You can use them all day. The batteries, like I said before, they don't go, dead within an hour or so drawing on them. You don't have to charge them up all day. You can we have like variable voltage devices. You can adjust the voltage on it, and it'll give you a bit more vapor. We have different types of tanks, clearomizers, cartomizers, atomizers that you can use that will give you, more flavor, more vapor. So, you're not limited to just one type of device, You can actually work your way up through the devices and find, the experience that you want, and like with E-Volution E-Cig, it's tasty experience. Our juices, we have about 40-some flavors to choose from. Plus we carry several premium blends. So your vaping experience can be what you want.
Right. Sorry, I'm kind of looking for these links. I know we talked about these links yesterday. There was links here. I wanted to.
Well, there's CASA. I don't know if I'm going to say it correctly, but there's CASA, for example.
Right. Do you remember the actual link for that? I think it was CAASA.
No, yeah, there's CASA, or there's the one that you can go through, which is CQRCENgauge.com, and that will actually, if you go to that, it will help put a petition or put your word into James, Seward. That will actually send him a message. You can also go on your state assembly on the internet. You go to find your local assembly rep, and you can actually put an email to him,
right?
And voice your opinion on the matter. One thing I like to say is, I like everybody to keep it respectful,
right?
We don't need bad mouthing. That's not what vaping is about. We're not about being inappropriate. We're professional people overall.
Exactly.
I got a bad mouth, potty mouth, I foul language it. But at the same time, let's keep this respectful. Let's keep it, on a level that they will listen to us. Because once you start bad mouthing and getting ignorant, that's when they just ignore you.
Right.
We need, and this is not just for vapors to go to. We need the non-smokers too, because the smoking affects the non-smokers too.
Right.
Vaping can affect them if they choose for it to, but for the most part, they're usually the non-smokers who complain, or even the smokers who complain about the vapors. Usually, everything they're associating their issues with is actually about smoking. Everybody's different. We're going to affect people differently. People may not like the vapor. They may not like the smells that we produce. It does dissipate and go away, but be respectful with vaping. Here, before you quit, you weren't able to walk through the mall and smoke a cigarette. If you can't go into your local grocery store and hold off till you walk out like you used to smoke, you can do the same with vaping. You can wait.
Right.
And that's something. It's clean, it's safe, but it's not everywhere. You can't do it everywhere.
Right.
You know, be respectful. So, I mean, it's definitely, you know, something that all of us need to do. You know, smoking, non-smoking, you know, we need to come together and make this, you know, this effort towards a better future, a better life. You know, E-Volution has, you know, I'm greatly appreciative to what they've done. They've given me this chance and opportunity, you know, to help people, you know, and we're a growing company, and we're very thankful to all of our customers, you know, and all the customers that are coming through the door. You know, we're thankful that they've come to help us. We're there to help them. You know, join up with us. Come on down to the shop, hang out. You know,
right.
It's a place for everybody too. You know,
right.
If you're a smoker and you're thinking about it, come on in. You know, Thursday nights we hold classes down there. If you want to come in, you want to learn. You know, got a good group of people in there. You can learn from the basics all the way up to the advanced levels.
Right. Yep.
You know, it's not just a place to come and spend your money. This is a place that, you know, come on in, hang out, have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, sit down, shoot the wind, and have a good time. Right.
Okay, I just want to mention this. This isn't just a site, this site that I'm looking at right now. This is not just a site that is for New York State residents. Anywhere in the country where you know there's any kind of legislation going on in regards to e-cigarettes in any way, shape, or form, you're probably going to find on this site. The site is CQRCENGAGE.com/CASAA. I'm not exactly sure what CASAA means, but you'll find if you look on the right-hand side, and if you just go right to there, you'll see there's they have a big list of bills and things that are going on in different states all across the country. I don't know if this... I think this is just in the United States. There may be other organizations for other parts of the world. But if just looking on the side here, I'm seeing New York has 1, 2, 3, just on the main page, 3 different bills that they're working on. Okay, you know, packaging and labeling requirements for electronic cigarette liquids.
We've done that.
You know,
where we've actually
I don't see a problem with that one personally. I think that's a great thing. However, banning e-cigarettes anywhere smoking is predicted. You know, come on. You know, banning e-liquid in the state, that's kind of a bad one. There's one for taxing. They've got a lot of crazy stuff going on, and if you guys, you know, our listeners don't get your asses in gear. I mean, you know, equate it like this: how would you like it if people banned metal? I mean, holy shit, we'd have a riot. I mean, you know, and we're trying, you know, nobody's asking you to just go start vaping or something. No one's asking you to quit cigarettes. And if you want to, that's great. You know, but we're not, you know, this whole discussion here, I mean, I know it sounds a lot like an anti-smoke Nazi thing going on here, but really it's not. I'm just trying to get the background, you know, from the point of view of, you know, the vapors for you guys. Everybody knows about the smokers. Yeah, we go, yeah, whatever. But, you know, the vaping community, you know, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about them, you know, about vaping and different things you can do, and it's pretty cool stuff what they do. I mean, it's almost like the stoners. You know, you get a bunch of stoners together and they think up these crazy ass ideas that you never would have thought of if you weren't stoned. But it's, you know, see a need, fill a need, and the need here is people that want to quit smoking are finding ways to do it that are actually working, and I think that's great. And you know, some of these bills that I see on here, Vermont, 92% e-cigarette tax. 92 fucking percent? I mean, for fuck's sake, that's almost as bad as New York State's tax on tobacco. and we're one of the highest in the country. That's fucking ridiculous. Well, we don't want anybody to quit smoking. Fuck that. That's what that says. That's the message that these states are putting out there. Is, yeah, you can go ahead and use it, but you're going to pay through the fucking nose. We'll just go get a prescription for that patch that doesn't work and burns your skin, or that gum that you're allergic to. What kind of shit is this?
Yeah.
California,
that makes you crazy. Holy
shit, California, the biggest liberal state in the union. Everything's got to be clean air. They don't want people smoking. I've heard that there's actually been attempts in the past to ban smoking in complete cities. They want to ban internet sales. They want to ban the Yupa vapor products wherever smoking is banned. Iowa isn't actually doing that bad of a thing. I would say support that. They want to ban sale to minors. This is a nicotine thing. You don't want your kids using this.
Exactly.
But Delaware bill would ban e-cigarettes use wherever smoking is prohibited. I don't really care about that. Those bans I don't really care about. You know what? You can go outside just as easy. Who gives a shit? You know what? You're actually doing non-smokers a favor by going outside. You go stand by all these smokers, and the non-smokers complain about the smell even outside the building. You go blow a nice big cloud out there. It smells better. It's air freshener. I don't give a fuck. But banning,
it's like Febreze.
Right? But banning the sale of e-liquid and shit like that. There's a lot of those going around, and guys, let's think about it this way. Would you want the next Slayer CD banned in Walmart? Walmart probably already did. That's a bad example. FYE. Would you like to go into FYE and find that every Slayer CD has been taken off the shelf because the PMRC said so? Fuck no. That's your fucking right. You want to listen to it, it's your fucking right. You want to use it, it's your fucking right. Sure, we can make things safer. Sure, we can make things better for people. But it's your fucking right to buy these things. And just from a consumer attitude, you should be telling the fucking state and the federal government to fuck themselves. Screw you. We want, people want this. People are buying it. It's creating jobs. Even if you're not interested in, using this shit yourself, even if you really don't give a shit if people quit smoking or if you don't want to quit smoking, I'm certainly sure that your wallet matters to you. And, just think about it. If you allow them to tax this, what else are they going to tax? If you allow them to ban this, what else are they going to ban? It only took a few short years for Adolf Hitler to turn Germany into the Nazi Party. Only a few short years. It didn't really take that long. And, we don't want that to happen in the United States, and it already does in a lot of cases. And it's because people just say, well, it's the government. What can we do? You can fucking say something. That's what you can do.
Exactly.
And
everybody has a voice, and everybody's opinion does matter.
Oh, yeah.
Stop talking about it in your kitchen and in your living rooms. Get up, go out there, and do something. You have the access to the internet. You have a cell phone. You can call and make your voice heard.
Oh, you don't even need a cell phone.
People have become afraid to do so.
Oh, yeah. But there's plenty of ways you can do this. Obviously anybody listening to me is on the internet, so, come on, you got a keyboard right in front of you. It only takes a moment to fill out the little form. Click Remember Me, and anytime any of these things come up, you're going to get a little email. Yeah, I've gotten a few of them so far, and, look, New Orleans, Louisiana call to action. Ordinance would ban vaping wherever smoking is prohibited. There's more of them popping up all the fucking time. And, They want to call them tobacco products. Well, technically, I guess they are kind of a tobacco product. I mean, where else are you going to get nicotine from? The synthetic stuff, we've all heard some pretty bad stuff about. People went crazy on those pills. So obviously, the tobacco industry is not going to get hurt as much as people say they are. So these proponents of this stuff, saying, well, if the tobacco industry goes away, a whole bunch of, dude, tell you the truth. If you look it up, I'm sure you can look it up. It's more than likely mostly illegal alien migrant workers that are picking tobacco, because most of us don't want to do those jobs. And think about it. We're gonna, but you still got to pick the plant to make the nicotine to put into the e-juice. So you're still going to have a tobacco industry. It's just people are going to stop buying the plant and they're going to start buying the liquid. But the tobacco industry is still going to make their money. They just won't have to put pretty packages on things anymore. So who fucking cares? And, they're not going to lose their jobs. They might not make as much money, and darn. I feel so bad that they might need they might end up like the bankers and be looking for a bailout. The bailout I think they should get is in this leaky ship that they're going to be in. But
the thing is you have to look at it like this. They're not going to need any, like you said. The vaping community is kind of dependent upon the tobacco industry for one of our products. So they're actually definitely going to gain sales. They probably still are gaining sales from different companies buying, the product from them.
Right.
I mean, they have, definitely, there's a way for everybody to kind of work and coexist together. But at the same time, they see their reasons for whatever their reasons are. They probably got hidden reasons that they're not voicing as to why they don't want vaping going on.
Oh, yeah.
They want to ban it because some little kid got a hold of a bottle. It's not the little kid's fault, and I feel sorry for that, little kid that lost his life because of the irresponsibility around that. But that's a key thing with, like, a lot of the vaping community is every time they throw something at us, we are there to fix it. Every time they want to say, well, you need to put a child-proof safety cap. You need to put a label on that. You need to do this. You need to do that. That is something that I'll give E-Volution E-State credit for. They've done that ahead of time.
Right.
They thought about it. They did it ahead of time. When the bans come and all these other things come along that are going to come, E-Volution is ready. They want to regulate this and regulate that. We're ready for it because we're there to help the people. The main goal is to help people, and that's what E-Volution is there for.
Right. And that's the funny thing. Is it's not even, if you talk to doctors, my own personal physician has said this to me. It's not the nicotine that that people in the health industry are worried about. The nicotine is so minimal compared to the rest of what's in a cigarette. My doctor hounds me all the time. I don't want, and he tells me straight out, he's like, I'm not telling you to quit because nicotine's bad for you. I'm telling you to quit because the other crap in the cigarette is bad for you.
Right.
And he actually told me, he's like, listen, nicotine is great for helping you lose weight. It's great for helping you stay alert. There are a lot of positive uses for nicotine. But when you add the other thousands of chemicals in that are going to kill you, it's very bad. And, we're talking about my crazy-ass doctor here who actually told me that he was glad to see me go back to smoking when I went up to 300 pounds and ended up with sleep apnea and could have died in my sleep. And he said that smoking was a better trade-off than dying in my sleep, but yet still not good enough trade-off. But, so we're not talking about, some crazy, all the way far left or right doctor here. We're talking about a guy that's very moderate on things, that is willing to say, yes, there are benefits to nicotine. Yes, there are bad parts, and yeah, the bad does outweigh the good when it comes to smoking. But you put it into something like a vaporizer, and, cut yourself back on it, because obviously it can do some crazy shit to your stomach. Anyways, it can, it changes your physiology. Being able to stay awake when you need to, be more alert, cutting your appetite. Think about the